Wow. So you mentioned early on about inflammation, inflammation, as you probably know, is the root of many diseases.
Mm-hmm.
Many chronic diseases. It's the root is inflammation. So, tell us some of the treatments that you recommend to prevent this inflammation in endometriosis.
The first thing I say about inflammation is I'm huge on analogies, and I like people to think about it. When you have the diagnosis of endometriosis, you have a small fire that is burning 24/7. Either your daily actions pull the trigger and keep that fire, nice and small, or those daily actions turn it into a bonfire. So when you're in pain, when you're cramping and you're bloating and you're having these issues throughout your body, that's when that small flicker has turned into a big bonfire. So that's what I want you to think about as your inflammatory response. When you wake up in the morning and you do that, the code, and you kind of do the body scan of where are you at, that's when you really look at your inflammation. The biggest thing I do with my patients when we first start off, it's kind of the unsexy stuff. Nobody wants to talk about nutrition, right? Because in their mind, they're on an inflammatory diet, they're eating clean, they're organic, they're vegan, they're like, don't touch my nutrition, I got it under control. And I'm always like, let's just assess it. This is the biggest mistake that I made and that I see in the people I work with. We take these cookie cutter diets, AKA nutrition. I don't even like using the word diet, but at that point, it is truly a diet. And we just hang on to it. Everyone's going vegetarian, juice cleansing, water detox. We just grab onto it. We stick with it, hell or high water. If we get better, great. If not, we don't. Most of the time, the cookie cutter nutrition is not going to manage chronic inflammation within endometriosis or any chronic illness. You have to figure out your trigger foods. Period. I know that it's frustrating. I know that you don't want to log your foods. I know that you're just like, LJ, tell me the 10 foods that I can eliminate. Yes, some of those basic foods are going to be, probably getting rid of the gluten, the wheat, the dairy. However, those may not be your triggers. I always use myself as an example. For me, corn was a trigger. I was eating organic corn. No one told, I had no idea, but then I'd be super bloated. I had pelvic pain. I was cramping. It was like, I would eat at 6 o'clock. I'd have not just the bloating, but also the endobelly, right? The belly that is distended, radiating heat and inflamed. So you have to identify your trigger foods, which is going to mean some food logging. I always love for people to bring in digestive enzymes. Typically, when you're managing endometriosis, there's going to be some type of gut dysbiosis. Whether or not you have H. pylori, that bacterial overgrowth or anything, you're probably going to need some digestive enzymes, some stomach acids to really break those foods down. Once you identify your trigger foods, it's the consistency. It's not just I eliminate the foods Monday through Friday and I throw my hands up and have an amazing time on the weekend. Because when that happens, you do the party on the weekends, and who's in pain Monday and Tuesday? Possibly calling into work Monday or Tuesday. So you have to figure out those trigger foods. You have to be consistent. And that's where I like to start.